Good evening and welcome. I am calling to order the Ordinance Committee and Downtown Economic Growth Committee relative to Council Order 2016-285, starting off with a public hearing. This is a public hearing relative to Council Order 2016-285, order for the land disposition agreement parcel H1 in the Hancock parking lot, currently pending in the Ordinance Committee and Downtown Economic Growth Committee. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings and transmissions are being made whether perceived or unperceived by those present and deemed acknowledged and admissible. At this time, we'll ask those speaking in favor to come forward. We also have, if those not wanting to speak, we do have sign-in sheets in the back of the room. Anyone looking to speak in favor? Council Order 2016-285. Second call. Third call. Anyone wishing to speak opposed or undecided? Come forward on Council Order 2016-285. Those wishing to speak opposed or undecided, or sign-in sheets are available in the rear of the room.
Is this the public hearing part?
Public hearing.
How you doing? John Roderfield, 62 Grandma Road. I just think you got to really put the brakes on and not be voting on this so we at least hear about the garage, we hear about the infrastructure, about how the plumbing and sewer is going to get connected to this building. It's a very dense building. There's going to be a lot of bathrooms in all the units that are going to be used all the time. Right now, there aren't any bathrooms being used in that area. It's a vacant building. We have to make sure that the developer takes care of the infrastructure and you don't let the taxpayers get stuck with that infrastructure. And, you know, we just have to worry about what we're doing about bonds. I'm very concerned with the amount of debt that we're issuing because we're going to be issuing debt to pay for the sewers and we're going to be issuing debt to pay for the parking lot. We don't have money for these things. What we really should be talking about is the retirement pension fund and the health care costs. They're very important things that need to be talking about instead of development on the schedule. It's just ordinance meetings are nothing about the Hancock parking lot, or they're about H1, they're about R1. You know, pretty soon bingo for the developers is going to be across the board where the taxpayers are really getting stuck with, you know, a lot of liability, a lot of the risk. I'm not sure what the incentives are, but we need to see the master plan. Mr. Councilor Finn said, what the city councilors, you guys are not the master developer, you guys are the master planners. And to have a master plan, we must see all the pieces. So this is one piece. You know, the LBC owns many properties. They're going to be a partner with the city of Quincy for a very long time. But we have to make sure the partnership is one that works for the taxpayers, not just for the developers. Thank you very much.
As you come forward, state your name and address for the record, and just one at a time to come forward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, I'm Reverend Sheldon Bennett, 43 Marymount Road in Quincy. I'm also a member of the Affordable Housing Committee for the City of Quincy, and the director of the Friends of Butler Pond. That's not the issue tonight. I'm not here to speak to the merits pro or con as to the proposed development itself, but I do ask and charge this council to take a careful look at what, I haven't had a chance to see the actual document for the LDA yet, but I charge this council to take a careful look as to what specific contributions are being made by the developer through this LDA towards infrastructure, parking, and/or affordable housing as provided by the Urban Redevelopment Plan as amended in Amendment 4. And if there is no significant contribution to affordable housing being included in this LDA, then I would ask the council to take a careful look and ask as to what extent whatever contributions are being made towards infrastructure or parking, to what extent those contributions, their dollar value, exceeds what any developer anywhere in the city might be expected to contribute through typical mitigation agreements with the neighborhood and the city. And I would also charge, if there is no contribution to affordable housing in this proposed LDA, no contribution to affordable housing, that this council take a careful ask again, just how the city council in its role as the final authority on approving LDAs, just how the city is going to achieve the reaffirmed goal of including within the downtown development a mix of housing for a range of income levels, not only for the affluent, but for more moderate income, working people, seniors, and others for whom the top of the market housing is just far above any, far above median incomes. And then finally, if there seems to be no clear ways, there are fewer and fewer parcels, obviously, that are remaining for including affordable housing. I would then strongly charge this council to consider, I understand there is some discussion about considering amending the inclusionary zoning ordinance to remove the present exemption of the downtown district. I would strongly support such an action by the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. Anyone else?
I think what some of you may, I'm all for developing Quincy Center. The thing is, who's LBC? Do any of you really know? At this time, however, the administration is seeking to have you approve a land swap and land sale, which entails the city's making a further commitment for at least $30 million in municipal debt for infrastructure that is necessary to be built in support of this and the O'Connell proposal. Accordingly, at minimum, this body should insist upon LBC providing duly certified financial statements, including documented net worth, as well as line of credit, and proof of financing commitments in place to follow through on its plans before you even consider the LDA, much less approve it. Oh, and please don't accept any claims that project financing commitments cannot be provided until the LDA is approved. No credible developer is going to be moving forward on an 8-figure project without already having a financing commitment already in place. That funding entity can qualify its commitment per standard practices. Granted, before mentioned documents are privileged, but this body has an independent legal counsel who can review the report back to the council, or this body can appoint a special executives committee to review the documents and report back to the whole. More importantly, such documentation is all but mandatory to protect local taxpayers. For but one example, remember what happened when Streetworks imploded. Also note that this LDA can appear to propose more upfront exposure to the city and thus local taxpayers than the Streetworks proposal should this LDA go south. This body should also insist upon a contemporaneous consideration of proposed takings of lands from this party, from parties tied to LBC, including the proposed Clarendon Street extension through the former location of Fuji. In short, in for a nickel, in for a dime. Further due diligence is in order. Key for doing so is that LBC was fined $10,000 by the Office of Campaign and Political Finance for making illegal contributions to various elected officials, including Mayor Koch. And yet the Koch administrations continue to negotiate with LBC without any apparent reaching out for guidance from or review by OCPF, the State Ethics Commission, the Inspector General, or the Attorney General. This is unarguably troubling. Further note that people variously tied to LBC have contributed roughly $50,000 in campaign contributions to Mayor Koch, as well as $15,000 more to members of this body, as well as at least one other local elected official. And roughly $10,000 of this was mainly donated to the mayor after LBC's principals were fined by OCPF last November. Granted, pay-for-play is not illegal in Massachusetts, but such payments arguably fail the sniff test. Next, The administration stated that LBC is not seeking any tax breaks for its proposed project. At the same time, it's seeking to lease up to 120 parking spaces for use by its tenants in a garage to be funded by the city of Quincy municipal debt. And the lease looks to be a sweetheart deal for LBC. Per the formula, the most LBC will be paid in monthly rent for parking space in the first 8 years. The parking lease is capped at less than $60 a space, depending on the band interest rate at the time, and which would be less than $40 for the formula at the current time band interest rate. Further, the parking lease formula does not appear to impose any maintenance costs upon LBC. Conversely, the current posted rate parking space for 210 West Chestnut is $175 a month. President's Place currently charges a bit less than $100 and has 35 West of Chestnut residents renting space in its garage so as to save themselves $1,000 a year. In turn, the proposed 120 parking spaces to be leased by LBC would yield LBC roughly $1.5 million in gross profit net of its parking lease payments to the city in the first 8 years of its lease. Further, by leasing parking spaces from the city on a bargain rate instead of building its own spaces, LBC could save itself well over $1 million in financing costs and property taxes in just the first 8 years of the lease. In short, just on parking alone, LBC is looking at something north of $2.5 million in net present value incentives, variously provided to it on the taxpayers, essentially on the taxpayers' dime, in just the first 8 years after work to build its proposed apartment building. And speaking of apartments, going with apartments rather than a small cottage hotel would basically cut in half property tax paid to the city by LBC on this project, and so on a whole, in covering the DIF debt service and additional local service costs that would result from this project's construction. While time doesn't permit discussing other incentives of that area in the fine print of the LDA, again, for reasons. We've got from the minutes and even the affordable housing payments by LBC saving another $1 million. In other words, $4 million in benefits on probably a $40 million project. In light of the OCPF sanctions, this body fails to insist upon undertaking the sorts of due diligence efforts mentioned earlier, ranging from proof of financial wherewithal, background checks, and only appropriate blessings from appropriate state oversight agencies. It can find itself open to charges of arguing malfeasance as opposed to really malpractice down the road. Similarly, careful scrutiny is also necessary as regards running the numbers, as regards the city's financial commitments, as well as its exposure should anything go wrong. Simply put, municipalities should not be engaged in subsidizing speculative private ventures. At this point, however, this LDA, as well as the economic LDA, would be doing just that. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Anyone else looking to speak? If not, opposed or undecided? We did receive one communication